So my shits are solid. I had one come out, and it fucking touched my taint.
I know someone personally that said that they pooped out a turd so big they had to get a screwdriver to break it apart so it would flush.
I've heard that before.
Okay.
Oh, man.
You ever done the old stealth ones?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to wipe
you
or
barely,
nothing.
No, that too, but
it
you
goes
barely
away.
even hear it.
Yeah.
It just goes into the toilet. You hear whoop.
It does a German U-boat.
And they're
stand up.
gone. It's
You
gone.
stand up, it's not even in there.
Okay, so you want to go to ask... so, Chris, can you think of orgasm from ping ponging?
You think someone could orgasm from that?
I just, no, I don't think that's possible.
You don't? With all the weird things that happen in the world?
Yeah, I know your prostate's located in your butthole.
If you have a
it's
solid
weird.
protein diet and you ate MCT oil and you have a nice slick shit, and where you can suck it in back and forth.
Oh, I wouldn't try it.
Now, what if you actually...
I can't. Can you imagine trying to pull it back in?
What if you actually pulled it out and then
I can't
used
imagine.
it on yourself?
No. The shit's still in you. It doesn't leave, then go back in. It's still in your
I know,
colon.
but I'm just saying, like, you pull it out and you're like, shove it back in there.
That's what I'm
different.
saying. Are you trying to say you got it halfway out? It's
And you
about
suck
to
it
touch
back up.
Yeah.
You suck it in.
That's weird, dude. No.
It's just like, ugh.
It's like you flinch it.
No.
It's like those things where people can spit out, and you suck it back up.
Yeah, you guys are like this whole
Off
topic.
the rails.
You got me
What's
on
the next question.
You got me on
Okay.
tilt with this one.
Okay. Well, what do you think? Do you think our butthole's supposed to be sour?
What?
Sour? What
going-
butthole are you going down on?
What?
Are you eating acid sour, bro?
Wait. Okay. Does food affect the taste of a butthole just like it does
I'm not
affect
sure.
Yeah,
your sperm?
if you're tasting sour, she's not clean, guy. She's dirty.
That's working double shift and just sweating all day.
Well, this guy said, my girlfriend has been eating me out lately.
a guy?
My girlfriend has been eating me out lately, and he's a guy. And she's described my taste as sour when she goes deeper.
It's probably been ping ponging.
Yeah, dude.
I clean myself very, very well, especially before she eats me out. Is this normal?
Okay, so I want to explain something about the anus. You have a small section you have outside and then you have the inside, but between those two is your sphincter, and the sphincter is actually thick. Okay, it's probably like a half of an inch to 3/4 of an inch thick. You can't get that clean. It's gonna seep out. It's gonna seep out stuff. When you start to put lips and moisture against that, I think things are going to seep out, and I think that's what's happening with this guy. And she's probably okay with it, it sounds like.
It sounds like he was ping ponging before.
What do you mean it's sour? That's fucking clean.
I got off earlier.
This is weird.
Impossible.
Wet wipe solves everything.
Impossible.
Anyway,
Impossible.
I hate us because the anus.
I don't
is all can
understand. It's just a butthole. It's pink.
Get down there, girl.
I use
say. This
Dove.
is weird, man. I didn't know. This is like some degenerate
I
stuff.
got off a ping pong and licked me.
It's just
Anyway.
people of the internet, man.
No, really.
Yeah, we're going to talk about milking next.
Chris is mad.
This
We totally went off the
dude is talking about getting his butthole licked.
It's sour.
This is other people.
This is.
warheads.
I know people are different,
These
but
are questions.
that's weird.
These are questions.
Yep.
We don't have to do that.
All right.
What's your question?
No, that's better.
Let's get back into the serious stuff.
No.
The
Let's
serious
keep going
stuff.
with the-
This is where look, we are a little lighthearted up front. We ham it up a little bit, and then we have a roundtable discussion. This week, I don't really have anything because I want to put it all on Alex and Chris, and I want to really hit their topics up hard. Alex has some talking points. Chris has some talking points. Me and Thomas, I think, are going to take a back seat. We decided to ham it up on this episode up front.
I think we're gonna go like head on into Alex's stuff.
Let's go.
Let's
Do it.
Okay. So on a serious note, on our last episode, we had a quick little tidbit on the Titanic.
Which
And
part?
Let's do a highlight on it if you want. What happened last week?
Yeah.
We might not actually play that episode. I don't know.
I thought you wanted
I know
to
I
highlight.
can't actually remember what we discussed, but
I think it came up when I
came
said
up.
I mentioned
the Nazi Titanic.
propaganda
Yeah.
topic.
And then I went off with the conspiracies, and I saw everyone kind of interest peaked a little bit. So I want to delve into this conspiracy of the Titanic.
Yeah, I remember it was Titanic, Nazi propaganda, Titanic 2, the movie.
Yes.
And then the conspiracy of the Titanic actually being the Queen Marie or something.
So what does tax fraud the Mummy, and the Catholic Order of Jesuits have in common. They all apparently sank the Titanic. So
The Mummy?
yeah, the Mummy.
Oh, now are
Apparently one of the
which mummy? Like, there's been
The first Mummy, the Brendan Fraser Mummy.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought you were saying
gonna-
like the first mummy, like the Universal mummy, black and white.
No, black and white.
I thought you were going to tell us that it all involves Brendan Fraser as a time traveler and
Well,
he jumps around.
I
Brendan
really
Fraser's
think-
father
I
was a
think
CIA agent. And
You
he
can
sank the
take
Titanic.
James Cameron 1998
The Abyss.
Titanic movie.
Oh,
No, Titanic.
okay.
And you can take all the boat scenes from Brendan Fraser's Mummy and splice it together, and it will make a cohesive movie. And then the Mummy sunk the Titanic, I think.
Betty on the wrong side of the river.
Like, you know that part where he unrolls all the weapons in his fucking roll? You know, like he had like guns and knives and shit he never uses in the movie once.
That's before they
Then the boat
invented the
sinks.
fanny pack.
So-
So
it fucking
as the
breaks in half.
Titanic's about to sink, Jack and Rose are at the top of the ship.
And Brendan
he's
Fraser's
he's like, jump, Rose, you're gonna have to jump. It's gonna suck you down. And the Mummy starts falling down. And as soon as the Mummy starts to hit the
sandstorm?
propeller,
The fucking iceberg has the Mummy's face in it, and he's going,
that's the iceberg.
like the sandstorm?
No.
iceberg.
The iceberg is the Scorpion King. It's the Rock.
oh.
Anyway.
So the Mummy hits the propeller. Instead of, you remember the classic ding, the guy flips?
Yeah, that would mean
yeah.
the Mummy would need to be on the ship.
So, yeah, the Mummy's on the ship at this point.
they have all the jars on the ship, so he's sucking the tongues out of everybody.
Yeah, so the Mummy...
You remember that one guy? He's like, he's like, and then Benny's like, I'm sorry, but he needs your eyes, your mouth, your toes, your fingers, your dick.
Oh, yeah, because he's rebuilding himself into a human
And
form.
he's like,
yeah.
That dude gets fucked over in that movie.
I always thought about if you had your tongue cut out, it'd be kind of shitty, wouldn't it? You got to talk like that.
Yeah,
No taste.
You can't
yeah.
The one thing is you won't be able to taste sour buttholes anymore.
Well, the sour's on the back of the tongue.
Ooh, it lingers.
Yeah, that's all you taste. Sour buttholes.
But you still got your sense of smell.
That's all you got.
You put them
This smells
apples,
good, it
dip
don't
apples
matter.
in ketchup, you
Hey,
might not taste that.
Just hold your nose and you won't taste the sourness. That's all. That's all it takes.
Just
At that point, you're doing a favor. That's a
Can't even
favor.
reach out that far. It's back here.
Well, you gotta
Yeah,
think there's
you-
those, like,
Let's do like,
what the singer from Kiss?
Gene Simmons.
Yeah, for some reason I want to say Gene Wilder, but that wasn't
He's
right.
dead.
Gene Simmons. Is
Gene Simmons,
wild.
yeah.
He is.
He's got like what, like a 8-inch tongue or something.
I don't know.
And he's
It's
always
long.
like,
It's long. He's used that thing.
oh,
Women flock
Funny.
to him for that tongue. They don't even want the
He
cock.
has the worst hairdo in the world.
Yeah, it's
Just fucking terrible.
Detroit Rock City, man.
No, when he's out of costume, that fucking
Yeah.
Mozart.
he needs
fro
the
thing.
costume for
God
that.
almighty,
Yeah.
man. That shit died in 1790. Anyway,
1790?
whatever fucking year he died, Mozart. You know, the hair, the fucking
yeah.
the powdered wig. look.
People had that because they had syphilis.
And yeah. Anyway, so we're going to delve into a couple of conspiracy of the Titanic because it's
right.
kind of fun. Have some fun with it.
Let's go slow with
go
it.
slow.
Let's ham it up
So-
with these
Hey,
conspiracies.
before we start, just want to let you know that Gene Simmons' tongue was 7 inches long.
Ah, see, I was
You were
close.
an
I was
inch off.
close.
We should have bowled that.
I was giving him just a little.
If he was
extra.
on the Titanic, he probably could have plugged a hole in his mouth.
He would have freaking hit that propeller and yo-yoed back up with his tongue.
He just flicks the iceberg out of the way. Anyway, so in order to start with the conspiracies, we have to go back to J.P. Morgan. Is everybody...
I don't know about J.P. Morgan.
Okay, J.P. Morgan was a banker back in the early 1900s. He owned several important companies, most notably the U.S. Steel Corporation, General Electric. He also had his hand in AT&T and Western Union. Well, he in 1902 they acquired the rights to the International Mercantile Company, which
Okay.
is a transatlantic ship company that owned boats in America and Britain.
Oh, man.
Which they also owned White Star Line, which was a company that had the Titanic, the Olympic, and the Britannica.
Okay.
So that's pretty much all we need to know about J.P. Morgan. And he was also a proponent of the Federal Reserve System, which was very important to the banking system of America. Chris, you got something to say
Which part?
about the J.P. Morgan?
Well, it just, when you start talking about J.P. Morgan, I look at his failed investments, and I see Nikola Tesla, and I'm like, oh, great. That's,
He wasn't that rich, actually, to be honest with you.
J.P. Morgan?
Yeah.
No, if we compare him to the Rockefellers at the time.
Yeah, he was pretty poor. Anyway, we all know the story about Titanic.
Right.
It sailed out in 1912. It hit an iceberg. It sank, broke in half. All that yada yada yada. Pretty good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I saw
We've all seen the movie with James Cameron.
sci-fi
Yeah, the movie.
Titanic. We all know, yes.
Yeah.
We all know.
Okay. Well, one theory is that the actual ship that sank wasn't the Titanic. It was actually the sister ship, the Olympic. Mm-hmm. Now, the reason for that was in 1911, the Olympic was hit by another ship. There's also some conflicting information whether or not it was hit by a German U-boat. Chris, you have some information on that?
Oh, no, that's it. Like later in the war, the quote-unquote Olympia, if that was the real ship, it rammed a U-boat after it was enlisted into World War I.
Yeah. So
It did its job.
it may or may not have happened like that. Anyway, so the Olympic took so much damage that it was pretty much, you can't sell it. So,
Right.
and it was the Olympic's fault that it got in the wreck. So the insurance company wasn't going to pay out to the company to fix the ship.
So it was a wasted
Yeah,
boat.
so they have a whole boat that's they can't fix
do
it
anything.
because they don't want to pay it out of pocket.
Right.
While you have Titanic sitting in a dock, brand new made. So what they did was switch the Titanic name to the Olympic and put the Olympic name on the Titanic.
Yeah, and while the Olympic was being repaired,
Yeah,
they constantly took parts from the Titanic
and put it
on the Olympic.
like the rivets around the portholes, the lifeboats, the name.
You telling me they took rivets from a ship and put it in another ship?
You know, the bucket of rivets that was going to go to the Titanic's build.
Well, the interesting fact was all the Britannica and the Olympic had their names engraved on the ship, but the Titanic actually had its name riveted on the side of the ship, like someone put it on after the fact.
Yeah. So
So the two boats were switched.
So did the Titanic just become a donor ship that just
Yes.
hid somewhere?
It was just like a
So-
skeleton.
So what happened was, so you have Titanic, quote unquote Titanic,
Right.
duct taped together to float, pretty much. But it's a brand new ship, so if it sinks,
You get the
they
money.
get the money
Yeah,
to fix
because
it.
who's got the highest insurance policy? The brand new car.
Yes. So the theory is they sell the ship out knowing that it was half baked, duct taped together, already, in shambles.
On fire.
Coal fire already on the ship. That's been proven. So they sell the ship out, and then rest is history. And they're saying the crew was in on it, and there was supposed to be a rescue ship to be there in the same proximity.
The California?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. There was a communication error, and the ship was never there to rescue the people.
Oh, that fucked everybody.
Yeah, the California said that they saw a ship
Yeah.
moving into the horizon when really it was just a ship sinking.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So they pretty much try to get tax money, but in real life, they never got the money to fix the ship.
Who owned these ships?
J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan owned White Star Line, which owned all three of these ships.
And he also owned the insurance company.
He also owned the insurance company.
So it's in one pocket. It's
Well,
out
he
of
was
one pocket and in
he was
the other.
invested-
Yes.
He was invested in the insurance company with $1 million policy.
Okay, so he didn't own the company. So he knew exactly
he
how
was
to
getting
play
in.
the game.
He was getting in
He
on
had
that
his-
sea travel.
He had, skin in the game. Had his hand in the pocket. Of
Okay,
it.
so he was setting up the chess pieces.
He's a real fat cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm going to take out this big insurance policy, put this half-ass ship out in the water,
Claim it as a new ship.
claim it as a new ship, and then we're going to fucking sink it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get my money.
Yep. Now,
Well, if he built the ship, though, wasn't he already out the money?
he's already out the money.
So,
But in real life, the sinking of Titanic was actually a massive financial failure for the company.
yeah, the company went out of business
Yeah.
that insured the Titanic.
Yeah, so there's no holding water here because they didn't really get the money to fix the ship. So
Yeah.
Now, the other conspiracy was that J.P. Morgan was a proponent of the Federal Reserve System, which we have now in the country. Mm-hmm. It's the global, or the country's banking system.
A forgiveness system.
Yes. There was three people.
It's only available to certain people, though.
Right.
Banks.
Banks. So pretty much what
Forgive
happened
the
was-
debt of the smaller people.
What?
Well, so J.P. Morgan was a proponent of the Federal Reserve.
Right.
there was 3 people that were on the ship that were against the Federal Reserve.